May 24th regular Board of Education meeting for the East China School District. If we would please all stand for a moment of silence and Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everybody. I appreciate you all being here this evening. The next item on our agenda is items of interest, recognition, and inquiry. Do any of our Board of Education members have something they'd like to share this evening? Nope. Nope. Okay. Mrs. Cybula.
I just want to say that it's nice to be back in person, and even though some of the subjects we're going to be discussing tonight are difficult, it's good to see everybody and be back where we can do business together.
It is good to be back in person. Okay, the next item is our consent agenda. A motion is needed for the approval of minutes from our regular Board of Ed meeting on April 26th, our special Board of Ed meeting on May 13th, the approval of the payment of bills, the financial statement, and schedule of investments.
So moved.
Support.
Any comments or questions? Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Okay, the next item on our agenda is recognition of persons wishing to address the board. This portion of the agenda is for citizens to address any questions or comments to the board. The board will listen, take comments and questions under advisement, and as much as we appreciate you being here and we will listen with all of our heart to your comments, we cannot respond at this time. It's against our board policy. However, all of your comments and suggestions will be noted by Mrs. Cybula, and an answer will be forthcoming to you. The other thing to bear in mind is please try and limit your comments to 5 minutes. Okay, the other thing, the last thing is if you want to speak, we need you to fill out a green card. So at this time, if you haven't already done so, please get one over to Mrs. Kranz. Okay, the first green card I have this evening is Jamie Brooks. If you would please come to the center microphone. Hi.
Hi. On behalf of the St. Clair girls varsity tennis team, I am here today to discuss the recent disqualification of our team from the regional tournament. For those who are unaware, this past Friday, the tennis team took first place in the regional tournament, obtaining 24 points between all of the flights. In order to qualify for the state tournament, your team needs 18 points. It was brought to our attention, after we had already won, that we had an ineligible player on our lineup who was playing that day. If we had been informed before the tournament had started, we easily could have fixed this by replacing that player with someone else. Instead, we were disqualified from the entire tournament. As the #1 singles player, I am still allowed to move on to the state finals tournament without the team. But this does not feel like a bonus for me. I have been playing competitive tennis for a very long time, but I've never felt more passion for the sport than when I got to high school and was a part of this team. The team aspect is what makes the sport so fun and rewarding, and I do not want to play without being alongside my teammates. Especially because this year would have been the 30th straight year of the St. Clair girls tennis team going to the state finals as a team, but this has now been ruined due to a mistake that was out of our control. No player is at fault here. This entire team has worked very hard this season and in this tournament just to lose everything due to someone else's error. We are not here in anger or to fight with the school, but we are here to ensure this never happens again to any team. Nobody deserves to feel the loss that we have, especially after every single player here has worked extremely hard to win the regional title and qualify for the state tournament. We also ask that the school itself contacts MHSAA in a timely manner to try and overrule the decision of us not being able to play in the state tournament. Even if we had defaulted the flight with the ineligible player, we would still have enough points to qualify for the state tournament. We would just no longer win the regional title. We feel as though this is going unheard, even though we had won 5 out of 8 of the flights at regionals. We deserve to be recognized and congratulated for our accomplishments. We understand if we cannot play as a team in the state tournament, but we need to be assured that no team at St. Clair will ever have to go through this again. This mistake hurt way too many people that had no control over it. We thank you for your time and hope you take the time to discuss and process what we have just presented to you.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie. Our next green card is from Jessica Holcomb.
Hi, my name is Jessica Holcomb. I'm a mother of 3 boys and have been an ER nurse for the past 10 years. I want to discuss removing the mask mandates for our children and make it optional instead of mandatory. Studies are showing that children are not the super spreaders or asymptomatic carriers that we were all told that they were. Did you know that in Sweden they kept their schools open with no mask mandates and no testing for children 15 years old and younger? They had 0 deaths among the 1.8 million children, and teachers did not show an excess increased infection rate. A study of 100 institutes in the UK shows similar results. Evidence is also coming out to show that not only do children not spread the virus, but they also have very low death rates. Of nearly 3 million children testing positive in the United States, only 271 kids died from COVID. This is less than 0.01% death rate for children. Studies have also shown that continued mask use can lead to increased dental caries, gum disease, headaches, skin infections, long-term psychological damage, and much more. One personal example of this is when my son went back to face-to-face instructions after having a hard time learning on virtual. Within 2 weeks, he had a staph infection on his face. The pediatrician straight up told me that it was related to wearing the masks and that she has seen an increase in such cases since the children have been back to school wearing masks. My son frequently comes home from school complaining of a headache, which he has never done before his in-person learning this year. It is a well-known fact that kids learn social skills from reading facial expressions. By covering faces, we are depriving them of this very important lifelong skill. Not only do masks reduce the amount of oxygen in the body, they also increase the carbon dioxide levels in the blood, which is the direct cause of the headaches. Masks hold germs in the fabric. When we exhale bacteria from our bodies, we're not supposed to be breathing them back in. Not only are we breathing in the bacteria again, but also it is being held in the fabric and sitting on our faces for hours and hours. The dark, moist environment under the mask makes a perfect breeding ground for bacteria to grow and cause skin conditions, such as the staph like my son had. It is no surprise that the doctor said that there was an increase in such cases. So with all of these studies saying that children are not killing grandma and spreading COVID like wildfire, and with all the health problems that the masks are causing, my question is, why are our kids still in masks at East China school districts? I'm sure it would be really easy for you guys to say, well, our hands are tied, we must follow what the health department says. But this is not true. They only offer guidance and recommendations. No public health orders have been set up for any COVID restrictions in St. Clair County. You could also say, well, if we remove the mask and someone gets COVID, then we could get sued. This to me is a pretty simple one. Just make the parents sign a waiver that releases you guys from liability. A couple years ago, when the bond proposal came up, it was shown that our district is losing enrollments every year, which ultimately results in a loss of funding. As a parent, I teach my kid that every choice has a consequence. That rule doesn't just apply to kids. With every choice you guys make, there is a direct consequence that will occur. If you choose to keep these ridiculous mask mandates in place, you will lose more students, which means more money loss. I personally know several parents that will be withdrawing their children from this district if these mandates are not lifted, including my 3 children. We want our children to be happy and healthy, and I know that you guys want the same. If you didn't care about our kids, you wouldn't be sitting up there. You guys were elected by us to stand up for our children. We picked you because we trusted that you would be strong in tough times and make decisions that are in the best interest of our children. You took an oath to uphold the Michigan and U.S. Constitution, that you will faithfully discharge the duties of board members to the best of your abilities. When you took that oath, you meant it. Now is the time we need you the most. The power is in your hands. You can make this nonsense stop. You can right this wrong. You can make these headaches and infections go away. You can let our kids breathe again. Our kids don't deserve to be living in constant fear, and the masks are a huge reminder to be fearful. Please, please, stand up for our children. They need you. Make these masks optional for our kids.
Thank you, Jessica. Lindsay Chop?
Hi, everybody. My name is Lindsay Chap. I live in St. Clair Township with my husband and my 3 kiddos. I have 2 kindergartners who attend Gearing, and then also a 2nd grader who attends Gearing. It's been a long year and a half, full of challenges, changes, and inconsistencies. One thing that has stayed the same is the fact that our children are at an extremely low risk of being affected by the virus, oftentimes not showing any signs, being asymptomatic. We should be rejoicing this and thanking God for this, rather than continually acting out of unwarranted fears and enforcing unjust rules. Immediately and moving forward, I would like to see the following changes. No more masks. If I can walk through Meijer, if I can sit at a restaurant for 2 hours without a mask on, sitting next to others who are unmasked, my children need to be able to do the same. If someone wants their child to wear a mask, or a staff member wants to continue to wear a mask, please feel free. But it should be a parent's choice. And I would love to see the staff's smiling faces as well. And I know they want to see my kiddos. And have you ever seen the mask of a kindergartner at the end of 7 hours? I have one here. It's dirty, it stinks. They do what kids do. They spit, they snot, they get food all over their face, and it goes onto their mask. And then they're breathing that all day long. This mask was smelly, and it was moist at the end of the day when I took it off my daughter. This is just from today. No more back and forth, please, with the virtual and in-person learning, okay? I was happy to see that you guys are offering a virtual school. That's great for people who don't feel comfortable yet or for other reasons that they have. But for me, I know that for my children, school is the most safest, best environment for them to learn, and that's for many children. And our staff are amazing, so let's let them do the work that they need to do. They're awesome at their jobs. That's why they're teachers. I'm not. And it's also healthy for them to be in the school environment for brain development, for social interaction, and also, unfortunately, we need to acknowledge that there are children out there who are safest at school than being at home. It's a refuge for them from neglect, from physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. No more quarantining or testing. As we've already heard, we already know that kids just aren't, they're basically asymptomatic. They are not affected by this virus. And again, that's a wonderful thing. And it does more harm than good. So why are we going to test kids who aren't even showing any sickness, not letting them play, missing out on their proms, maybe not being able to be in the play that they wanted to be in, possibly hindering their chances at a scholarship that they needed just because someone else tested positive. Or maybe they themselves tested positive but showed no symptoms. It just doesn't warrant it. And again, how about we just go back to common sense? If you puke, you're going to stay home. If you have a fever, you're going to stay home. Why are we keeping the healthy quarantined? And no vaccine requirements whatsoever. As a parent, I have always had the choice to vaccinate my child, not vaccinate my child, or follow a delayed schedule. And that needs to continue. And I too will not send my children to school if I am forced to vaccinate them with a vaccine that was just created. I'm not going to put that in my children. Our children have already been through enough, and it's time to give them back the childhoods that they deserve, the childhoods that they so desperately need, and the childhoods that we were all afforded when we were young. I fear the consequences if we don't act quickly. We're already seeing what's happening in adults. There's a rise in alcoholism, drug abuse, depression, and mental health is on the decline. We want better for our kids. And I want to thank you for your time, your efforts. I know it's not an easy job. I can't imagine what you guys go through, but I know that you do care for our kids. And I urge you to continue to put our children first in all of your decisions. Thank you.
Thanks, Lindsay. Tira Livingston, did I pronounce that right?
It's all right.
I'm sorry.
No problem. I get it all the time. It's Tiana Livingston.
Tiana,
Um,
thank you.
I didn't write anything down. I just wanted to come here and speak just from the heart, okay? Let's see how this works. And just a second ago, you had us just all stand and we said a pledge allegiance to the flag, right? In that line, we said liberty, right? I also have a mask for my daughter. This is from a 6th grader that she wears at your school every day. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Okay? This is what we are telling our kids makes adults feel safe. If your staff and your teachers, and I love them, I moved to this district because you guys are doing an excellent job. But if you think this makes them feel safe, that defies common sense. It defies common. It's terrible. Okay. Ms. Cybola, you did your bond request a couple of years ago last year, and I trusted you, right? First it was no, I go around. I get everybody trust you, right? We have to have trust between you and all these people, right? Or it's not going to work. We're not going to have young ladies like this lady sitting here, intelligent, smart, speaks well, right? That's what we want from our schools. I've been a prosecutor for 15 years. I've done 150 homicides. I've done over 1,000 jury trials in Wayne County. I walked into this room more nervous than I ever have been. I've done multimedia cases, America's Most Wanted. Why am I shaking right now? Because it's never been this important. It's never been as important as it is right now for me to speak to you and tell you, you gotta take the mask off my kid, okay? It makes me want to cry, it makes me upset. Why? Because I got a 6-year-old with eyes that are blue as the ocean, hair as blonde as the hay. Her biggest thing, when she found out she gets to go to kindergarten, you should have seen that smile. Break your heart. You don't see that smile. I asked her, what do you want me to say today? What do you want me to say? She said, Mom, don't worry about me, but can you tell them to let the lunch ladies have their masks off too? Can you tell them I want to see Miss Malberg smile? That's from the mouths of babes, right? That's what we stand for. That's why we pledge allegiance. That's why we live in this country. Because it's the best damn country there is, and we're letting people tell us to do wrong. We don't do wrong just because someone tells us. Thankfully, you guys didn't make our kids wear masks at recess, right? Now you got these other districts, well, maybe we could take them off. No, duh, okay? We're asking you, stop restraining them. This is not liberty, this is a restraint. I'm begging you. I don't want to take my daughter out. I just retired from the prosecutor's office. I can teach her all day, but I can't socialize her. I can't teach her how to work with a group of tennis her whole life and become that star that she gets to be. I can't do that alone at 4723 Marsh Road. I can't do that myself, right? So when you guys, you want your bond, I trust you, right? Miss Malberg needs something for her class. They put it on that, I pay the whole thing, no problem. You want a raffle because we can't get close? Here's $300, I don't care. Whatever it takes for you guys to need, because I trust you. We need you to trust us. We need you to trust us. My kid comes home crying. She said, Mom, I can't wear it. Mom, I can't wear it, Mom. Ellie, you don't have to wear it, baby. I'll take you out. Mom, I want to be with my friends. I just want to make friends. She was an only child. Now she's got a little brother. She just wants to make friends. We need you to trust us. I understand the state helps fund. I get that. You know what the state gets? They get money on count day. You know what they're not going to get? Count day from me. I can't do it no more. I can't do it. I know there's about 40 other parents that can't do it either. Okay? So I'm begging you. I'll beg you. Please tell them, no. I didn't elect the health department from St. Clair County. I didn't elect Governor Whitmer. Maybe we can just all apologize later and say we're just human. Or maybe we can just stand up right now and you can say, Miss Cybola could say, I'm going to do it. I'm done. I don't need the governor's exemption. I don't need to have someone tell me I'm not masking my kids. These are my kids. This is my school. This is my district. And you're not going to tell me what to do no more. Because they're not spreaders. They're not. If your teacher and your staff are scared, I understand. I get it. let them wear a mask, let them get vaccinated, or let them stay home. We're done. We did it all for you. We stayed home. We told our children if you didn't understand, you got to sit there. You got to watch this TV screen. You got to be 6 years old and try and figure out how to mute, unmute, right? You got to put this on your face if you want to go see your friends, right? We did that for you guys for a year and a half. Please make it stop. Please stand up for us. We'll deal with the consequences. We'll figure it out as a community. We will do it as a community. But we got to have you guys, Matt. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Robert Tyler?
How does one address the board after that?
Yeah.
On a lighter note, I'm going to talk about bowling. So, thank you very much for the opportunity to address the board. My name is Robert Tyle, and I live at 115 Fredmore Highway. I am 76 years old young and have been retired from Bell River Power Plant for 21 years. With host Michael Laporte, I have been coordinator of the Saturday Morning Youth Bowling League at beautiful St. Clair River Lanes for the past 4 years. With that experience to draw from and the strong support from the citizens of St. Clair, we believe a St. Clair High School bowling program is possible. There is a precedent in that there was a boys and girls team back in the 90s. After multiple emails and conversations with the St. Clair High School athletic director and a number of high school coaches and administrators in the Blue Water area, we think the time might be right to proceed with a process to form a competitive bowling team. In consultation with School Superintendent Ms. Saibula, the decision was made to announce the possibility at St. Clair High School and the middle school and place a sign-up sheet at both schools, with the understanding that it was required enough students' involvement to warrant moving forward. Given the small window of opportunity to sign up during the remainder of this school year, we are requesting a continuation of the sign-up process through the early months of 21-22 school year to give us time to acquire the necessary student involvement to warrant continuing with the formation of a competitive team. And I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Mary Faejord, I hope I didn't butcher that.
Fajardo.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter.
I'm sorry.
It's nonchalant. I'm just coming as a grandparent to one of the students, 12 kids here to my left, or to my right, I'm sorry. I'm a little nervous, but that's okay, I've been there before too. For over 35 years, I kept score for the high school, middle school, and St. Mary's in basketball, and I followed sports for the last 35 years. And over the 35 years I followed, I never recall one team being disqualified 5 minutes before they're supposed to take the court. What I don't understand is that if the child was not qualified, why are we not finding the procedures of someone conducting an investigation of why the child was failing? Was she informed? Were her parents informed? From there was the council informed. From there did Mr. Rutledge did inform. From there did Mr. Miller. We got a whole chain of command that we have followed throughout our whole life. It seems to me that was eliminated. I just heard previously that the board coach from our high school that just took over our team just got word that this meeting's going down. We've got some lack of communication in this school. And I've been in this school with you people for years and years. I know my granddaughter does not want me to speak, but really, I'm to the point in life I don't care anymore. It's like these people. We have to start standing up and have you people hear us instead of just sitting here and taking everything you say as gospel. I don't even do that with my go here, looking off into the wild blue yonder, ignoring everything we say. My granddaughter, I apologize, but your grandmother can't sit here and take this crap anymore. We need to stand up and say, these are our children. We care about them. And these girls did a hell of a job in scratch the language, but I'm sure you people have heard worse than that. These kids worked their rear ends off on this team. This coach comes in from nowhere to try to help our establishment because nobody wants to stand up here and do anything for the school districts anymore because of the repercussion that they get all the time. It's time we support these young students. We support our tennis program and all the other children that are involved. The way we are going, we will never have sports in our community ever again because nobody cares about the students. All they care about is our massive millage. Okay, we got our millage. We did all that. What do we have to show? That our kids can't even go to state because somebody can't contact the parent. Somebody can't tell that child she needs help and she requires a little bit of counseling and tutoring. What the heck? We really failed these children. And that lies on us now. And I really think I better get a response of some sort because I swear to God this is going to hit the paper. Somebody's heads are going to roll for this nightmare. Thank you.
Amy Stamlin.
Hi, my name's Amy Stamlin. I live at 800 South 11th Street. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I just came in support of the girls' tennis team tonight, and I just want to assure you that we're not looking for any reprimands or any heads to roll or anything like that. We just want there to be an accounting of what happened so that it doesn't happen again. These girls deserve better. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, bear with me. I'm going to blow this one too. Donald Faejord. Sorry.
We're very close. Hello, my name is Donald Faejord. I'm Charlotte Fajardo's father. She asked me not to speak as well. I live over on 649 Glen Eagles. I've been a member of this school district my whole life. I'm a Boilermaker by trade. I'm a business agent and the vice president. That covers the whole state of Michigan. My organization actually built his factory. We're building a new plant right now. My guys are doing that. Work all throughout the state. I've done a lot of heavy construction in my life. I've had a lot of people working under me. Now I got a lot more. When I was in charge, I was responsible for those people. There's somebody that is responsible for all these girls right now. If I screwed up like that and my whole crew got let go and kicked out of a plant, guess whose head rolls? Mine. It's time for accountability. Somebody screwed up. As stated earlier, that girl was ineligible, whoever it was. When I was in school and played sports, I was in that position a couple times, but I was put on probation. I was notified of that. That was the week prior. Why was this individual not notified of that? And at the same time, the coach would have known that as well. And if that happened, then they would have had the ability to address it. First and foremost, to get that child's grade up. That's the most important thing. Get them educated, get them through school. Tennis is a bonus. But now we failed that child. And now she became ineligible, whoever it may be. None of the girls are looking to find that out. They're a team. They're sticking together. They're doing it as a team, which is a great thing to see. But with that being said, now the whole team suffered. The team suffered. The people at the top didn't. They turn their heads, they walk away, life goes on. And it's something that I hear all the time from my apprentices. Well, I'm sorry. Well, guess what? I tell them this every time. Sorry doesn't mean anything. Sorry appeases you to say that. But your life goes on. You admit don't miss a beat. You didn't miss anything. I don't want to hear I'm sorry. Do better. And at this point in time, people said, well, we're not looking to hold anybody accountable. I am. Do your job. That's what you're there for. If you can't do your job, then you need to move on. Get somebody else in that can. That's the way the real world works. If you can't do your job, somebody else will. That's all I have to say. These girls deserve to go to state. Period. And that needs to happen.
Thank you. Jeremy Becker. Jeremiah, I'm sorry. I can't tell you. He didn't read his writing.
Hi, I'm Jeremiah Becker. I live at 3241 Mayor Road in China. I have 3 kids in the school district. First, I want to voice my support for these 3 awesome moms back here. That was unbelievable what they just said, and they spent a lot of time trying to sort that out. So I think that was really impressive. I also want to say I don't admire your position here with these pretty tense decisions to make after a long year plus some of this process of COVID. I think we're all learning a lot of lessons, and I know that there's possibly some of you that agree with what happened in the last year and some that don't. And I just want to express my support for the idea that we need to start thinking differently. We need to start being more logical about what's happened in the last year with education, with masks on our kids, with quarantining, with sports. This is just an example of some of the disasters that have happened in sports across the state during this time period. Obviously slightly different scenario, but sports has taken a huge hit from COVID and the process that our health departments have handed down to us. We do know now that there's little legal action that a lot of what's been told to us that we have to do has. So I'm hoping that the board can start bringing some logic into the scenario and start making decisions to support the parents in this community and the kids. I'd really love to see masks be optional. Quarantining's gotta go away. Why we flipped our medical world on its head in the last year and gone away from logic of quarantining sick kids to quarantining healthy kids is way beyond me. I don't understand it. It doesn't seem to be working. We need to see a change. Thank you.
Thank you. Lauren Schweihofer-Martin.
Hello, I'm Lauren Martin, and I live at 4224 Radicke Road. First, I want to say I'm like super nervous, which probably surprises you since I always have a lot to say. But okay, so first off, I'd like to start by saying thank you for allowing me to speak here tonight. I appreciate you taking the time to listen. Second, I would like to address the lack of communication from our board members. I have had several emails go unanswered this school year, and that's not okay. While I don't expect everyone to agree with me, I do expect you to acknowledge and communicate with the people who reach out to you. Unanswered emails or any form of communication is unacceptable and unprofessional. But moving on to the issues at hand here, I want to start with masks. I don't want my kids in masks. I don't want anyone's kids in masks. Research shows that the efficacy of masks is significantly low in eliminating the transmission of aerosols, specifically the single-ply, non-medical grade masks that most Americans and our students wear. And while Dr. Mercantant stands by the high efficacy of masks, there is plenty of research to the contrary. Forcing our kids to wear masks is abusive. Forcing them to press filthy, bacteria-filled masks against their face for multiple hours at a time, often without any mask breaks, is downright unbelievable to me. And yes, our very own schools are denying our children mask breaks throughout the day, with the exception of a lunch period. My own child has gone weeks without a mask break during class, except for at lunch. And any administrator enforcing this should be ashamed of themselves. While we're at it, kids should not be forced to test weekly or get a non-FDA approved vaccine in order to play sports, participate in extracurricular activities, or attend school, period. And I want to be very clear that if it is not okay to mandate the non-FDA approved COVID vaccine to any athlete or student, and if this is the direction that the school district ever chooses to take, I will pull my children out. I know this is not currently on the table, but I fear it will be very soon. I understand that the district continues to take the stance that they have and will continue to follow the St. Clair County Health Department recommendations, and while I understand your reasoning behind doing so, I don't agree with it. I also understand that you and we are all hopeful that all these current orders are just going to go away July 1st, and I promise you there is nothing that I want to be more true than that. But we need to address what happens if they don't go away. What happens if they come back for the next school year? We need to talk about what will happen if the St. Clair County Health Department reinstates mask mandates, if they reinstate testing of athletes, quarantines, and vaccines after July 1st. Is the district going to continue to follow the St. Clair County Health Department regulations, regardless of what they are? These are major concerns for many people in this district, and they need to be discussed, whether it be at board meetings, public announcements from the district, or emails between board members and concerned parents of this community. These are issues that need to be addressed and openly discussed. Bottom line is, I want masks off my kids. I want masks off all kids. I don't want any child to be forced to mask, test, or vaccinate in order to play sports, participate in school, and extracurricular activities. This goes for this year. I know there's only like 12 days left, but this year and next. And I will not support a school district that supports these outrageous behaviors. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. No, it's not. I don't think so. The last one, is she here?
No.
Excuse me just a moment. Okay, all right, sorry about that. Jessica Stepp.
Good evening, my name is Jessica Stepp. I'll try to keep this short. I'm a mother to 3 children, 2 of which are school age, 10 and 5. Both have IEPs, so I am no stranger to being their voice and their advocate. At only the tender ages of 10 and 5, my boys fully understand that getting sick is a normal fact of life. They also recognize the anxiety they feel when wearing a mask. Grabbing our masks for school are the last thing we do before we head out the door, and it certainly brings dark clouds to their day. Growing up is hard enough without instilling unnecessary fear in our children. The data is just not there. Kids do not carry and spread this virus that it was initially thought. So I urge you, please consider unmasking our children. My 5-year-old has apraxia of speech. He needs to be seeing people's faces, especially their mouths, to help him progress. These years are very crucial. He is not the only one. There are many more like my boys, and in these trying times, we need to do everything we can so that they don't regress. Please unmask our children. My next point is a very touchy one. There is so much uncertainty going on in our country with separating the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. And with the shot soon to be available to children age 2 and up, I urge you, do not do the same to our children. As a mother to a vaccine-injured child, I can speak from experience when I say that a vaccine is not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. This is not meant to bash vaccines. This is meant to remind us all that we must respect what people need to do in the best interest of their health and what works for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that was all of our green cards for this evening. As difficult as it was, I just want to thank everybody for coming and sharing your concerns, and to let you know that it does not fall on deaf ears. This board does care. This board is touched by every one of these young ladies in the room this evening, by every child in our district, and all of your comments and suggestions will be taken to heart, and you will be somebody will get back with you. So thank you all for coming.
When will that be? When will the response?
There will be a response probably coming sometime this week.
And is that to the general, like, how do you get, we've never been to one of these meetings.
It's to the individual.
So how do you respond? And is there ever a forum where you have a discussion between
No.
the board members and the public?
No, that's our policy. Yes, it is. It's been our policy for very many years.
Determines the policy.
It's been our board policy for many years. Thank you for coming. So we have to move on.
So the person that had all these emails sent to you, you haven't responded to any?
Okay, I'm sorry. We're moving on now.
Yeah, you're out of order.
Our next item is our information discussion items. First item on that agenda is PA 152 of 2011 resolution. Mrs. Gleason.
Good evening. In 2011, publicly funded Health Insurance Contribution Act, or Act 152 of 2011, created a new law that limits the amount public employers can pay for employee medical health benefits. This act was effective September 27th, 2011. There are annual hard caps set by the state treasurer and updated for inflation each year. Employers can accept these hard cap limits or elect to contribute 80% of the coverage. The 2021 rates for hard caps and our current 80% contributions are as follows. For a single person plan, the hard cap is $7,044. 80% contribution is $5,860. For a difference of $1,184. A two-person plan, hard cap is $14,731. The 80% contribution is $13,167 for a difference of $1,564. And last but not least, the family plan, the hard cap is $19,211. 80% contribution, $16,382 for a difference of $2,829. East China School District has selected the 80% contribution since 2011. If we maintain that same selection, we save over $400,000 annually. The administration recommends we maintain our 80% contribution for PA 152 requirements. Any questions? Thank you.
Angie, can you restate that savings, please?
Sure. $400,000 annually.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. Okay, the RESA biennial election, Mrs. Cybula.
Thank you. At our next board meeting, the St. Clair County RESA is requesting that the East China School District Board of Education adopt a resolution that will designate a voting delegate. This voting delegate will be Board President Jeannie Frank, and an alternate will be Vice President Pat Bebuck, and then those delegates will vote for the two qualified candidates for the RESA biennial ISD school board election. There are 2 open seats and 2 candidates. The 2 RESA school board candidates are Janet Clayton and Greg McConnell. Both are incumbents, and their bios were included in the board book. This resolution will be an action item at the next board meeting. Okay. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions regarding that? No. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And then our last discussion item is the extended continuity of learning plan update.
Thank you. Thank you, Craig. Just the first slide, the next slide, Craig. Yep, this is our continued return to learn update. The bullet points that have been in every one of these, just to remind us, this is a requirement for our return to learn for in-person and virtual instruction for this school year. On the next slide, our current modes of instruction. As of today, we have a 100% in-person learning option, and we also have a 100% virtual learning option. And on the next slides are the key health metrics from the St. Clair County Health Department that we've been following since the beginning of the school year. As of this morning, we have a 7% positivity rate for St. Clair County. I wanted to point out that as of last month's Board of Education update, the positivity rate was 22.1%. So you can see that the epidemiologists from the St. Clair County Health Department that predicted the slow and steady decline of the positivity rate in the county were correct in their assumptions for that rate and the trend that it would follow. The East China School District athletic testing, we've had 0 positive cases today at either high school. Marine City tested 76 student athletes. St. Clair tested 130 student athletes. And our middle school athletics have concluded their season, so there was no middle school athletic testing. One of the requirements of the Return to Learn update is to provide you with the weekly two-way interaction rates as a percentage. And you can see that through the last 4 weeks that we've had a 93% two-way interaction rate or higher, going up to the 97.2%. And then finally, on the last slide, with our current metrics of our interaction and attendance percentage rate at or above 93%, and the current positivity rate being at 7% and showing a steady daily decline, we will continue with the current modes of instruction of 100% in-person or a 100% virtual option. Thank you.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. Okay, the next item on our agenda is our action items. The first recommended action is per administration's recommendation. The Board of Education approves the RESA budget resolution indicating that you have reviewed and support the St. Clair County RESA budget for 2021 to 2022. A motion is needed.
So moved. Support.
Are there any comments or questions? Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. The next item is per administration's recommendation, the Board of Education approves a 1-year renewal with Chartwells for a food service management company for the 2021-22 fiscal year. A motion is needed.
So moved. Support.
Any comments or questions? Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And our last action item is per administration's recommendation, the Board of Education approves a cooperative team for boys varsity soccer between Cardinal Mooney High School and Marine City High School commencing August 1st, 2021. A motion is needed.
So moved.
Support.
Any comments or questions?
No, I'm glad we're able to provide that.
Me too.
I think that's fabulous.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to give that to our children. Okay, so all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, that also carries. So now I need a motion to go into closed section. The Board of Education goes into closed session pursuant to Section 8C of the Opens Meeting Act, Act 267 of 1976, that being for board discussion connected with the negotiations of a collective bargaining agreement.
So moved. Support.
Any comments or questions? Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, so at this time, the board will go into closed session. Once we return, there's nothing else on the agenda, so we will adjourn. Thank you.